What is going on, everyone? How are you doing? I hope you're doing good, because it is good to feel good. Yes, it is. And I am back with another video, and today's video is going to be a story time. Ooh, I don't know why I did that. I don't think it was worth it, but it's there anyway, so enjoy. So yeah, I'm back with another story time today, and it involves something about me on my travels. So as you know, I do my fair share of traveling every so often, and there have been times where I've had like near misses, and you know, stuff was gone down and it could have ended disastrously, but it didn't. So yeah, we've escaped a few things in my time, and today's video is about two such incidents that happened earlier this year for me, oddly enough. And you know what, let's have a little talk about those things. So as you can tell from the title of this video, it is about the time I misplaced my backpack and I nearly missed my flight. And for context, this didn't actually happen on the same day, oddly enough, although it did happen within about 3 weeks of each other. So so yeah, that was crazy. And like, I thought to myself, I wonder what would be the hat trick if I do end up going travelling somewhere later this year, although that's probably not going to happen because I've already got something booked for next year, oddly enough. So yeah, let's have a little trip down memory lane, I guess, with these such incidents. What I'm going to do with this story time is I'm actually going to split it into two parts. And obviously I'm going to have the misplacing my backpack story first, and then I'm going to have the nearly missing my flight story after that. I can't speak English today. But anyway, let's dive into it. So the first of these incidents happened when I was on my holiday in Morocco with my family earlier this year, and it involved what I would say a few little blunders from myself. So first things first, I chose not to sleep the night before. We had a very early start that day, about 2 in the morning, and I thought to myself, oh, do you know what, I might as well just stay up and then I'll see you guys in the morning. That was a mistake. So yeah, so it was a 2 a.m. wake up call, and then we had to drive all the way to Stansted Airport, which is about an hour or so drive from where I live. So yeah, that was fun. And then we got to Stansted, we got on our flight, and it was with Ryanair. Oddly enough, the world's most favourite airline. And go figure, with Ryanair, our flight got delayed for about an hour. So basically what they explained to us was that, you know, there's a system error with the plane or something like that, and so we're going to just basically shut down the plane for a few seconds, and then we're going to reboot it. So I thought to myself, wait, why are you telling us this now? Why are you getting us all concerned at the fact that, you know, the plane's gone dead? Let's just try and reboot it again. It's just a plane, not a bloody PlayStation. It's like they make this shit up on the spot. And then after a 4-hour flight, we landed in Marrakesh, and then this is where the fun begins. So whenever you go through an airport, when you arrive, you go through, like, obviously international immigration, although I say that when you're going through a domestic airport, it doesn't really have the same rules, I guess. But whenever you go through an international airport, like through immigration and that, obviously you have to fill out, in most cases, a declarations form. So like who you are, what you do, where you live, where you're staying in this country. So yeah, so they were all waiting there, and then literally just a few steps away was passport control. So we didn't have any pens on us, or in fact there were no pens ready for us to, you know, write with. And so I decided, oh yeah, do you know what, I'll go get a pen out of my rucksack, or my backpack, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I did. I filled mine out, and then I went to go all the way through passport control, and I was like, yeah, just everything was all smooth there. We had a little bit of banter with the I can't think what they are, but yeah, so with one of them, and then obviously we got through, and I went to go get some dirhams, which is the currency in Morocco. And so after all of us got through passport control, and you know, we got all our bags and that, we got a bit of currency as well. I even got a SIM card for myself, because you know what, I'm not going to pay those silly old roaming charges nowadays. So yeah, that was all sorted, and then it hit me. I realised I don't have my rucksack on me. I had my satchel on me, I just did not have my rucksack on me. And so here's me thinking, wait, where could I have possibly left my rucksack? So here's me trying to retrace my steps and thinking where I could have possibly left it and such. So it was crazy. So my rucksack had quite a few valuable bits in it. It had my laptop in, it had my hard drive in, all sorts. And so here's me panicking thinking, oh no, somebody's likely could have taken it, or it could still be there, or it could have been taken by airport staff and been disposed of, because in this day and age it's never wise to leave any baggage unattended, because, you know, they might suspect the worst. They might think something dangerous is in there. So yeah, so that was me thinking, oh mate, it could have been just taken away and, you know, blown up basically. Don't say that when you're in an airport, by the way. So yeah, so here was me panicking, thinking, oh no, all my stuff's in there. And so eventually I had to just, you know, ask around a few airport staff to say, you know, if they'd seen it or something. And so I asked around a few people, and then thankfully, I didn't catch his name of this guy, but this really helpful guy came over to me and said, I'm not going to do an accent because I don't want to come off as racist, but he told me that he'd likely have seen my bag on the other side, and then so he took me back through passport control. They were okay with it. And then what had happened was I'd left my rucksack right where the declaration forms were. So I've gotten the pen out of my rucksack and I didn't think anything of it afterwards. So yeah, that was a silly little blunder of mine. So do you know what I blame it on? I blame it on the fact that, you know, I was tired, I was feeling anxious, and just a little bit of short-term memory loss. It was just completely slipped my mind at the fact that I, you know, put it down there. So thankfully it was all there, all intact, you know, laptop, hard drive was all in there. And I thought to myself, do you know what, I really hope that there's no more like issues like this whenever on my travels. But apart from that incident, you know, the whole trip went off pretty swimmingly. And as I say, I thought, you know what, there's going to be no more incidents this year when it comes to my travels. Boy was I wrong. So here is part 2. And so 3 weeks later, when I was about to fly to New York, I'm guessing you've seen this in the vlogs, basically I was almost at the point where I wasn't going to be able to board my flight. Why? Here's why. So when it comes to, you know, flights and that, whenever you book it, obviously you book it under your name, and then when it comes to about 24 hours beforehand for the flight, you are able to check in for said flight. So I was trying to do that, and I was being greeted each time with an error when I was trying to check in, and so I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought, you know, it's a minor error. You know what, when we go to the airport on the day, we should be alright and able to resolve it. And so on the day of flying, me and my dad drove to Heathrow, and when we got there, I explained to them my predicament about me not being able to check in for my flight. And so it was there and then that I realised that I was not even booked for the flight. Or I say that, my official name wasn't even booked on the flight. Here's a weird thing. So I go by Ollie Walker on most things these days because I like Ollie Walker, but my official name is actually Oliver Walker. So I found out there and then that I was booked in as Ollie Walker and not Oliver Walker. So then I went over to customer service, and I explained to them my predicament there and then, and they told me to get in contact with the agency that I booked with for these flights, and so I did that. I obviously explained, you know, I was meant to fly that day in literally just a few hours, and it was almost at the point where they were like, oh no, you're not going to be able to board your flight, mate. That's along the lines of what they told me. So I thought, oh shit, here we go again. Thinking about CJ from GTA San Andreas there. Oh shit, here we go again. So yeah, what happened was, so I was almost at the point, I was almost certain that now, there and then, I'm not going to be able to get on this flight. It was going to be, the kibosh was going to be put on this trip once again, and obviously me getting excited of going to WrestleMania and everything, because it didn't happen a year prior when, you know, I had the plan on doing so, but I didn't want it to happen for a second year in a row. So I basically, as my last resort, and my dad was thankfully there to help me, we got through, and then thankfully they were able to cancel my flight and then rebook it under my official name. And so yeah, that was just like, in terms of near misses, like, I think this is probably the worst near miss for me, because it was almost at the point, yeah, we're not going to be able to get on this flight, but at the last possible minute we were able to, you know, get it resolved and, you know, get it all, you know, up and running again. My hopes were flying high once again. And then before I went through security and that, my dad was there. Thankfully my dad was there to help me, and I feel like if I was just there by myself I would have definitely struggled, but like, my dad was there, he was so helpful, you know, he really, you know, I thought, you know what, I feared for the worst, but he got me through it, so cheers for that, Dad. And so he even explained to me a similar situation that happened to him when him and my mum went on their honeymoon back after they got married. Well, that's exactly what a honeymoon is. So what had happened was they were running late for their flight, and it was almost at the point where they were not going to be able to board their flight, and so they were late parking. My dad had to get on a coach, and then my mum was just waiting around at the airport. So yeah, eventually when they got to the actual terminal, they'd missed their flight, but they were able to get on their flight, on the next flight, free of charge. So that was all right for them. And so yeah, I think from these little experiences they've taught me some valuable lessons. One, never, like, you know, never leave your possessions, you know, unattended, because, you know, anything could happen for them. They could be stolen, they could be taken and disposed of. And two, always make sure that whenever you're booking for anything, like, always make sure you have your official name on that. Although now that I say that, when I go to Japan next year, I want to make sure that I've got my the right name booked for my flight to Japan. Let's see. Yep, yeah, it's booked in as Oliver Walker, so that's good. And so yeah, those are some little incidents that happened this year. I'm really hoping that when I go to Japan I don't have any incidents like this, because it will make it all the more awkward. And just like, in fact, now that I mention it, I've got connecting flights, so now I'm hoping I don't miss my connecting flights. Fingers crossed for that. And so yeah, so I think looking back at these experiences, they, like, you know what, they really, you know, broaden me up to the fact that, you know, I need to be careful with what I'm doing. I need to make sure I'm booking things under the right name and stuff. And just, yeah, just always be aware at all times, Ollie. We'll get there. Just be careful, guys, that's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, on that note, I'm gonna sign off here, and I'm also gonna leave you with some advice, and that is to enjoy yourself, stay safe, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Although now that I say stay safe, that's quite ironic with this video. Enjoy yourself, stay safe, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Thank you for watching, and peace.